And we are live. Hey guys, I'm Wolfie, and today we got a show on the docket today. We got Val in the house. Good to see you. She liked this live. OG, I appreciate you always showing up. Big W. Raider right in the house. Best Raiders fan I know. Morning Wolfie, morning Gold Rush, morning Wolfpack at that. Good to see you. Welcome, man. We have some subjects to get to today. We have the Brock Purdy trade discourse happening right now. We're going to jump into one of them that's taking the internet by storm, sort of like as of late. There's going to be new ones every single week, throughout the entire process up until you get signed. So we'll jump into that. We'll jump into one trade in particular. Then after that, let's jump into a article that I saw called Jaylon Moore's Replacement. I think it's very interesting because he was just a backup. So I just thought it's kind of interesting that Jaylon Moore replacement is kind of like a priority thing. I thought that was kind of weird. Then, of course, Dre Greenlaw, the 49ers tried to get an extension for him, and they really pursued him even after he was supposed to sign with the Broncos. They tried to pursue him, try to make it happen. It was on Monday up until the new year started. So that's when he actually signed the contract. It was too late then. But it goes to show to you just how important this second linebacker position is to the 49ers, and we'll jump into that. And then we'll jump into the last but not least, the pre-visits, some of the pre-draft visits, such as there's Conley's on there. There's a few D tackles, a couple DNs, linebackers, and we'll talk about what exactly does that mean for the team in the draft. And then, of course, since it is this kind of season, it's that kind of season where it's draft season. So mock draft season. So we're going to do a fun thing today. Today, our mock draft, if we have time, is going to be trading up only. So we're only going to trade up with every single pick. So from first round, we're going to trade up. From second round, we're going to trade up. Third round, we're going to trade up. Every single pick the 49ers have, we're going to do nothing but trade ups. So this should be fun. Should be interesting. Hopefully I don't mess up. I might mess up where I'll start it and then it just gets to the pick super fast. So put it on slow. Make sure we get to that. And of course, as you guys know, we're brought to you by water. It's good for you. It's good for your skin. It's good for your organs. It's good for your bowels. It's good for you all around. It keeps you alive. It's the reason why I'm here. It's the reason why you're here. It's destiny. Okay. H2O. It's the way to go. That's not vodka. That'd be a lot of vodka. So, I like the hat. I just found a Raiders one like that. I got it for Christmas. I got it as a gift, and I absolutely love it myself. It kind of reminds me of like a helmet. It's got like a helmet. You're about to see how bald I am, but this is it kind of reminds me of like a helmet. And I think that's exactly what you probably your hat probably looks like too. I like it a lot. It kind of makes me, but I do kind of feel like, just in the back of my mind, like, are you telling me I need a helmet? Are you telling me I need a helmet? That's kind of how I look at it, but not like personally, not seriously. It's just kind of, just kind of funny thing in the back of my head. Val, go 49ers. Go 49ers. Go Niners. Let's go, baby. Let's do it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the first thing. The first thing we got on the docket, which is the Brock Purdy trade discourse that's kind of happening right now. And of course, that's just football, man. It's going to happen throughout the entire offseason, but we'll just jump into it for the sake of conversation, just so we can analyze it and be like, hey, is it a good idea? Like, would I be open to this? Is this something I would want? I'll tell you right off the bat, I don't want this. I think this is a stupid idea. I think this trade idea is kind of dumb. So we'll just go ahead and read it off, and then I'll give my opinion from there. So let me go add that to the stage. Craig Carton of a show that you watch. I can't remember the title of his show that he has late at night. I can't remember what it's called, but he sounds drunk, right? When he's on TV, he sounds drunk. Sometimes Greg Jennings is on there, Mike Shura or I can't think of his name. He's on there sometimes. Anyway, this is what he's been pushing the whole Aaron Rodgers to the 49ers thing all offseason. He brought up the 49ers should trade. First, it was the 49ers should trade Brock Purdy for the number 1 overall pick, have Aaron Rodgers come in, and then they just drafted Abdul Carter. now he's saying, here's a trade nobody says no to. The Giants trade 30 first-round draft picks, including a pick swap this year, with the 49ers for Brock Purdy. The Niners then sign Aaron Rodgers to their starting QB for the 25 season. You're welcome. No need to pat me on the back. Just happy to help. This is stupid. This is dumb. Why is this dumb? You're doing the Trey Lance thing again. This is literally just like except for the Giants, where they're giving us 3 first-round draft picks for Brock Purdy, who's more of a proven commodity. Someone who's proven that can work really well with Kyle Shanahan, better than any quarterback that Kyle Shanahan's ever had, right? Through his entire era, right? I think Brock Purdy's perfect for Kyle Shanahan, perfect for the 49ers, on and off the field. He's everything you want to be. These 3 first-round draft picks do not promise me a starting quarterback. These first-round draft picks do not promise me that we'll be fine in the future. And then we'll be back where we were with Jimmy Garoppolo players, CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins, trying to find another Brock Purdy. Why should we go out and try to find another Brock Purdy when we have Brock Purdy? There's no point in this. I understand he's like, oh, but you get Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is washed, y'all. He's done, son. He's 40, about to be 41. What's really weird about this guy is that he talks shit about – what's really about this Craig Carton guy, I believe it was last year, he talked all kinds of shit about Aaron Rodgers. Now he's like supporting the idea of Aaron Rodgers going to the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers and Kyle Shanahan would not work. That combo would not get along. It would be a terrible combination, right? It's just you could see it now. You as a 49ers fan, let's say that Aaron Rodgers is still good. Let's just say that for the sake of argument. You and I both know that Aaron Rodgers and Kyle Shanahan would not get along. And when you got the quarterback and head coach not getting along, doesn't matter what you think of Kyle Shanahan, doesn't matter what you think of Aaron Rodgers. It's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. So why would you even bother even entertaining that idea? I don't understand. Is Aaron Rodgers telling this Craig Carton guy, hey, man, put my word out. Here's some money. Make it happen. Is something like that happening? Because this makes no sense. And then now you got a bunch of content creators talking about this trade possibility. It's a potential trade thing, and that's what's going to happen. And I'm not insulting anybody when I say this because it is content and it is putting videos out there, and people tend to watch those videos a lot. Like I'm going to post this right after this live, of course, but like people are going to make a bunch of videos on it, and then it's going to get out of hand, and everyone's going to overreact to what trade proposals are. They're just trade proposals. They're not actually rumors. Like what this guy just said right here is not it's not an actual source. It's not an actual thing that's happening. It's just somebody giving their opinion saying, hey, here's this trade proposal, and literally saying you're welcome. That's literally what he says. And he said nobody would say no to that. I'm saying no to that. I would say no to that. When you have a quarterback, you have a quarterback. When you have a quarterback, when you win playoff games, you sign that quarterback. You make it happen. And he was the reason why we won playoff games. Brock Purdy was. So those don't fall out of trees. So I'm not taking the 3 first-round draft picks just so I can draft, I don't know, with that 3rd overall pick. Like, I love Abdul Carter. I love Travis Hunter, but they're not quarterbacks. They're not going to throw the ball to Juwan Jennings, Pearsall, or Ayuk, or anyone we draft get in the draft, or CMC. You have the most valuable position already ready to go. You have the most valuable position set. So why would you mess with that? Why would you try to go out and try to find a guy who takes you to Super Bowls, who is the reason why you win big games? Not like Jimmy Garoppolo, because Jimmy Garoppolo is somebody that wasn't the reason why we won big games. And it takes you back to the Vikings game where you only had, 8 throws, 8 passes, 9 passes or something like that? NFC championship game. Jimmy G was never the reason why we won games. He's the definition of a game manager under Kyle Shanahan. Brock Purdy, with his legs, with his off-platform throws, with his ability to, all right, the play is dead, I got to make something out of it, against the Packers and Lions in the playoffs in 2023, 2024 playoffs, those two, because it floods into 2024. He's the reason why we won those games. You can't say that for Jordan Love. You can't say that for Trevor Lawrence. You can't say that for Dak Prescott, who's the highest paid quarterback in the league. Those don't fall out of trees. So I just find it ridiculous that I love the idea of having 3 first-round draft picks. I really do. But I want a guy who I can trust. I want a guy where if he goes out there, the fans will trust him. The fans will be like, okay, he's been in the playoffs before. He can make things happen. And that's what he does. He's clutch in those situations. The Super Bowl, no one blames Brock Purdy for the Super Bowl. No one does. Like, everyone blames everything else but him. Muff punts, Greg Regon going out, the O-line coverage, Kyle Shanahan not doing his best that you expect better from him, things of that nature, right? Brock Purdy quarterbacks do not fall out of trees. So I would much rather have him, pay him, than trade him. So with these trade situations coming out, I'm going to be speaking this. I'm going to be talking about this a lot, probably repeating myself a lot because that's my argument. But I would not trade him for 3 first-round draft picks and then go out and get Aaron Rodgers and take the risk that he's going to be like, not just like, is he going to be good? Like, can he be good again? Right? Like, he needs those Aaron Rodgers needs freedom. He needs to be able to be his own man. And while he's a quarterback for a team, he can't afford to do that. He can't. With going to Pat McAfee's show, with all the drama he does on the side, weird, crazy conspiracy theories and all that stuff has been nothing but a distraction for him. And it's gotten the best of him last year with the Jets, and the year before that when he got his Achilles tear. Like, he had all opportunities to prove with the Jets. He had it all, man. Like, they literally went out and got all the players that he wanted. Like, everything that would satisfy him. And it didn't work out. Now you want to go to the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan? That's not going to work, man. That's just going to be a terrible match. You and I both know it. You and I both know that Kyle Shanahan and Aaron Rodgers would not get along. And you'd be asking for a shitty season. You know damn well that's exactly what would happen, even if Aaron Rodgers was good still. So why would I entertain the idea of already a dramatic offseason where we had a mass exodus, which I'm fine with, by the way. But then you coat it with Aaron Rodgers' problems and with Kyle Shanahan's issues. Like, okay, I can predict one good thing out of this: jersey sales. Everyone would buy an Aaron Rodgers jersey. Those would go up just because Aaron Rodgers always wanted to become a 49er. He's a future Hall of Famer. I won't deny that. And people would want to see, is he going to be good? And people will watch for the Kyle Shanahan and Aaron Rodgers discourse. It'll be must-see TV. It's kind of like with the Steelers, where if Aaron Rodgers went to the Steelers, it's must-see TV. I want to see that. I want to see him go to the Steelers because I want to see DK Metcalf, Pickens, and Aaron Rodgers just lose their shit, right? Aaron Rodgers tell DK, relax, man. Have some ayahuasca. You know, like, go on a darkness retreat. It's going to be okay, man. I'm going to get you the ball. I want to see that so bad. Not with my team, though. Not with the 49ers. I don't want to see that with my team. So this idea of when Craig Carton says, who says no to this? I do. And I think every 49ers fan that wants to see the 49ers succeed, or even if they think are rebuilding, having Aaron Rodgers on the team would just be cancer. It would be bad for the team. So you shouldn't want this. So I say no to this. It doesn't matter how many picks you give me. Your picks do not promise me a starting quarterback. Your picks do not promise me an upgrade. No matter how you feel about Brock Purdy. So I'm not interested in this. I think this is a terrible trade idea. I think it's a terrible situation. All right. That is a Brock Purdy situation right now. That is a trade proposal that's going around as of late. And it's Craig Carton, man. He's mainstream media. Mainstream media is meant to bring out conversations that no one ever thinks of, or brings out drama or crazy ideas or discourse, because it's conversation. You got to have eyes on it. And Brock Purdy being traded potentially is a all eyes on deck kind of type conversation. So Craig Carton, I do not take him as a serious. It's kind of like Nick Wright, for example. I like Nick Wright's takes because they're fun. They're fun takes. And sometimes I disagree with them. I like some of his takes because they're entertaining. But there's nothing more to it than that. Like, he doesn't know. If he were to talk about the Bears or some other team, he doesn't. That's not the Kansas City Chiefs. If you were a Bears fan, you would know more about the situation than he would because you've seen every single game. You've seen every single content creator talk about the Bears. You've seen every single press conference. You know exactly what's going on with the team. But his opinions are supposed to be outside looking in opinions, which causes discourse for the casual fan. Same thing with Craig Carton when he talks with the 49ers. He does not know what you know. You who've watched the press conferences. You who's paid attention to every single signing. You who knows every player who's been trash. That outside, like, it's just a name. Like, for example, Deebo Samuel. Everyone's like, oh my God, Deebo Samuel. Like, he hasn't been good since the Super Bowl. You and I both know that. He doesn't. Those people that say, oh, Deebo, they don't know that. So I wouldn't take to heart these mainstream media guys because they are literally just casuals. These are casual fans of the NFL who talk about it on mainstream media. You know more than them. So when they bring up these trade proposals and ideas without a source, because sometimes a source will come out and they'll say something like, oh, I've got a source saying this will happen from Diana Rossini or some other guy, part of the Adam Schefter or whatever. That's different. Those are sources. And they're saying our sources are saying this. Totally different. But when they come out and I have a trade proposal, oh, I think they should do this. I think it's a great idea. I hear they don't like this guy, but with no source of recommendation. It's just their opinion from a casual fan. You want to know what a casual fan thinks? Watch mainstream media. Because they would know better. Like, I know I'm a casual towards the Bears. On the outside looking in, they look good. They got a great offensive line. I like Caleb Williams. I don't think he's the greatest. I like their signings. But I don't know the depths of how well all their players have played. I don't know the depths of which Ben Johnson has been talking in press conferences. I don't even know the coaches they hired. Bears fans know more than me. But on the outside looking in, I can make a judgment. So I just think that we got to be caution ourselves when it comes to literal talking heads that can't keep track of everything that happens on every single team, such as Stephen A., even Shannon Sharp, Greg Carton, Nick Wright. All of them can't keep up with everything because they don't. They are casual fans that give their opinions outside looking in on your team. That's all. So you're going to hear a bunch of trade proposals from mainstream media. You're going to hear a bunch of people saying, hey, this guy's not worth it. Hey, what they're doing is stupid. That is from literally casuals. Those are casual fans telling you what you should think when you know better than those people. So hides my bald. Hey, same here, man. My hat hides. Boom. Gotta hide that dip. Luckily enough, though, this is where it stops. My dad's breed is like, not breed. My dad's genes usually stops like around here, get a little bit bald right here. And then it goes to here. And then when I turn like 50 or something like that, it's going to have that circle thing. But for the next 15 years, it's just going to be this dip. It's just going to be this dip. 36, going to be 37 soon. So are you guys still trying to get a contract signed with Purdy? We are, man. It's going to happen too. There are rumors of like him wanting to sign like a $60 million contract. I think it's just as credible as when someone said the $45 million was what the 49ers offered. Because apparently that was false. Some people say that was false. Some people say it was true. The same thing with the $60 million thing where it's like, I don't know if that's actually true or not. I think that's just discourse. It could be something the agent leaked out saying, hey, I want this money and stuff like that. But there's no real source behind it. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure no one actually came out on. It's really just like a rumor, but let me double check real quick. Whatever contract should drag throughout the day. Right here. It's Grant Cohn. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm trying to find it real quick. It's not really a report. It's just somebody saying it. Sorry, a little bit of stall in the video real quick. If it's live, I apologize. I'm just trying to find the article talking about Brock Purdy's contract situation. Dak Prescott. All right, it is Garoppolo. Discount Jimmy Garoppolo. All right, so here's the source. This is the source of the conversation about the $60 million thing. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'll share this tab with you guys so we can read it together, so I'm not coming at you with no bullshit. All right, so this is the source of – I have not read it, so I don't even know exactly how far this goes, how true it is. Have not read it. But this is supposed to be the source of the Brock Purdy contract discourse of $60 million. So we'll jump into it and we'll see exactly what we'll dig through the word salad and see exactly what they're talking about here. Papa J in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. What up, Wolfie and the Wolf Pack for sure. Welcome, Wolf Pack. Oh, let's go, baby. Show them some love. That's what I see. That's what I like to see. It's a slow season. I only listen to certain content creators because you are correct. As fans of 49ers, you guys would know more than any of the talking heads. They cover their entire league. Exactly, man. They can only retain so much information, man. Like you'd know more about the Raiders than I would by far. Purdy will probably get $55 million, assuming he wants $58 million. I mean, he should take that. 58. I think 58, 59. I'm sticking to my guns. I like that a lot. Juan in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you, man, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, brother. Good to see you. Let's go ahead and bring this up. This is an article from Garofalo. He's the one that brought up the whole conversation about Brock Purdy, so we'll know just how serious are these words. Again, I have no idea what this says, so I could be blown away and be like, okay, that's a source. That's really, or I could be like, this is just this guy's opinion. We'll find out. Let me drink some coffee real quick. We're showing love in the chat. That's what I like to see, man. That's what I like to see in here. All right, some love. All right. NFL Mike Garofalo believes, not reports, believes Brock Purdy's annual salary could come close to the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott, who earns an annual salary of $60 million. So far, just what he believes. No sources, but we'll continue on, see if there's more he has to say. This is his exact quote. Now, if you go back over the last 5 years or so and you see the quarterback deals that were done, the average purse is usually anywhere between 21 to 25% of the salary cap. If it's on the low end of that, he's going to clear guys like Trevor Lawrence. Garofalo, the insiders on Thursday, now he's not going to get Dak Prescott's number of 60, but he'll be in the high 50s. So he literally just said that it's not going to be in the 60s. So he's not going to beat Dak Prescott's number. So that's interesting. The source of this discourse about the $60 million contract, someone says earn close to it, though, which I expected. 58, 59 million is about close to it. He's saying himself he's not going to get Dak Prescott's number of 60. If he really wants to push it to Joe Burrow, who took the biggest chunk of the salary cap, that's like $68 million per year. I don't get the sense that Brock Purdy wants to go there because that's going to hurt the team's ability to do other things. But he wants his respect, and he wants money that's in line with those other quarterbacks. So this doesn't seem to me that he's saying that Brock Purdy's asking for 60. He literally says he's not going to get 60 million. Right? And this is just an opinion piece, by the way. This is like there's no real source to this. He's not even bringing up a source. He's just saying that this is just not going to happen. $60 million. So this course of like he's asking for 60 million. I don't know where it came from. A game of telephone, from what I hear. And if he really wants to push it Joe Burrow, I didn't know Joe Burrow's making $68 million per year. That's crazy. I didn't know that. I thought he was making less than that. But he wants his respect and he wants money that's in line with other quarterbacks. I mean, that's fair. I mean, that's about how I felt already. I felt that back in January. I'm sure you as fans felt the same way, that he wants his respect and wants money in line with that too, right? I mean, that's fair. And I do understand that he wants his respect. Maybe that's entailed with $45 million rumor where he's like, okay, I felt that disrespect, right? But he wants his respect. I understand that. I get it too. And I honestly think that he should get in line between 55 and $60 million, somewhere in between there, that sweet spot, right? Even if what's his name? Josh Allen got a discount, right? He got less money. He could have took more money. He was like, what's $5 million more? Meaning he probably could have got $60 million, a little bit more than Dak Prescott got. But he's like, I don't care. I need $55 million. Brock Purdy deserves that Trevor Lawrence contract, deserves that general area of that kind of contract situation of getting $55 to $58 million a year. The guarantees, however, are really more the bigger question, because guarantees tell you exactly how long this guy's locked in for, right? Like people say annual salary doesn't matter too much. I say it does because it still affects the salary cap. But the guaranteed money, why it's more important is because it tells you exactly how locked in that player is. So, for example, like let's look at Deshaun Watson, for example. He makes fully guaranteed money. That means you're locked in with that contract for as long as that contract is, no matter what. You're paying that. If Brock Purdy got, let's say, $150 million for 5 years, probably in the back end with the last 2 years or the last year of his contract, there's going to be very little guaranteed money that you can move off of, potentially. So guaranteed money is a big deal because it tells you exactly how locked in a quarterback is, for sure, no matter what. Let's continue what the rest of this article says, and we'll balance out this article. The 40s want to reward Purdy, who led the team to consecutive NFC Championship games. Whoop, whoop, Purdy! And won Super Bowl the past 3 years, while also being cautious with their financial flexibility. Prescott signed a 4-year, $250 million contract extension with Dallas last summer, including $231 million in guaranteed money. The team recently restructured his contract, created $36.6 million in salary cap space. Purdy could be tempted to leverage Dak Prescott as a benchmark for his own worth. This is not saying, in this source anywhere, saying that he wants Dak Prescott money. It's somebody just saying he could use Dak Prescott's contract as leverage. He just wants his respect, and he wants money in line with other quarterbacks, not necessarily Dak Prescott. So this discourse that Brock Purdy is asking for this much money is absolutely ridiculous. So when I read this article, and I won't say it, but you guys know what I'm talking about, one that should not be named, saying Brock Purdy is asking for whatever money, what was it, wants to be paid close to Dak Prescott. Yes, he does, but it's advertised as wants $60 million. He wants $61 million. He wants something like that. It's advertised like that, not advertised as he wants 58, 59, 57, 56. It's not advertised like that, and that's dishonesty. That's just trying to look at the numbers and create discourse. Like, that's what you're trying to do. It's more of saying, okay, I just want the respect of other quarterbacks out there that are getting paid a ton of money. And we already knew that. You and I knew that. I wanted him to get paid that much. Most of you were like, hey, some people say he should get less. Those are those guys. But I'm saying most fans are like, okay, he should get close to Dak Prescott. And close to Dak Prescott and other quarterbacks is $55 million. So we already knew this. But the only thing we didn't know is potentially this could be a source thing, which was he just wanted his respect. And that's something I think he should get too. I mean, if he gets anything less than $55 million, he did you and me a solid. He did the 49ers a solid. He did the entire team a solid and deserves the closest parking spot to the stadium. So yeah. All right. We got some comments in here. Salvador in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Bang, 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 not a gang, baby. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, we're showing some love. That's what I like to see. Showing some love. How you doing? We're showing some, hey, we're doing good. Hey, we're doing good. Good is better than bad, like I always say. Considering that quarterbacks get around 20 to 25% of the salary cap, 20% of $270 million is around $57 million Give it to him. And Papa J's source is David Lombardi. He knows what's up. He's been paying attention. He's paying attention to those things. You may not like David Lombardi, but he knows numbers. He knows numbers. My comment's deleted because I said something about Jimmy G. I don't think so. I don't see any deleted comments. I do not see any deleted comments. Grant Cohn was all like, how dare he ask for that much money? He does not deserve more than $45 million. You're telling me right now? Okay, let's first of all, you got to stop. Like, if you don't like what he says and stuff like that, you got to stop listening to him because he's always going to say crazy shit. So I don't know why you listen to him anyway if you hate everything he says, but I guess there is such thing as hate watching, I guess, but you're telling me right now that Brock Purdy doesn't deserve $5 million more than Daniel Jones? You're telling me right now that Brock Purdy doesn't deserve a little bit more than Derek Carr? You're telling me that right now? You're telling me, hater or not, that he doesn't deserve more than those guys? Kind of wild. Some people put him in the tiers Geno Smith and Sam Darnold. You're telling me he doesn't deserve that tier of money or a little bit more than that? Is that what you're telling me? Because that's what you're telling me. Brock Purdy, whether you like it or not, has played. I mean, let me go back to all the hater shit. Let me go all the way back to let me place Brock Purdy in the most hater shit ever, which is putting him at top 15, between 15 and 10. Or let's be generous here. Between 15 and 12 quarterback. You're telling me a 12 or 15 quarterback doesn't deserve more than Daniel Jones? Is that what you're telling me right now? Because that's what you're telling me right now, if you're saying he doesn't deserve $45 million. It sounds like a huge number to you, like to a lot of people, to the haters. But whether you like it or not, and you have to be honest with yourself, he's better than those guys, and he's going to get more money than that. So to say he doesn't deserve $45 million when, unlike Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Dak Prescott, every other quarterback, he's the reason why we win games in the playoffs, doesn't deserve $45 million? A guy who was an MVP candidate in 2023, you'd be like, oh, well, he has weapons. The 49ers are good at surrounding their team with weapons. That's always going to be a thing. Even if they draft him, it's going to be a thing. So your concern of, oh, he's going to get this much money, which is not going to be the highest paid. So he's not going to take the most of the chunk of the cap. Jimmy G, when he got paid, took up most of the cap. You know what happened? We went to the Super Bowl next year. So it's weird to me that we're like, oh, he's going to take us so much of the cap, which is not even nearly as much as what Jimmy G took of when that's how high the contracts were back then. It's weird that we're saying that, okay, well, how are we supposed to build a super? We did it with Jimmy G. We did it then. We drafted all the players we needed. Made a couple trades. But the 49ers did that. They did that. They built that team. So you're telling me with less percentage of the cap compared to what Jimmy G did, you don't think the 49ers, who already, by the way, have CMC, have a wide receiver core, whether you like it or not, they have a better wide receiver core than most. Juwan Jennings, Kittle, Pearsall, and Ayuk hopefully gets back together. Cowie needs to figure it out. But unlike a lot of other teams out there, they don't have a number one. Look at the Patriots. Kittle is going to be used more because you got Farrell now. So this, thing of saying that, hey, Brock Purdy can't do it when he has, if you were to sign the contract today, going into this year, he would have Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, Ayuk, Kittle, Cowie, CMC, Isaac Guerrero, the same offensive line pretty much that he had when he went to the Super Bowl. when he went to NFC Championship games. Where's the drop-off? Debo? Debo has been bad since Super Bowl 2020, since the 2023 Super Bowl. 11 targets, 3 receptions, and then we needed him in 2024. Absolutely atrocious. All he did was hinder Brock Purdy. And then going into this draft, yeah, we want D tackles, we want D ends, but you are going to, no offense, but you're going to be naive if you think that the 49ers aren't going to come out of that draft with at least another running back and another wide receiver. I'm telling you that right now. So it's weird to me that we're concerned about this when we've been just fine in the past before after paying a quarterback the most money in the NFL, the most cap space taken up in the NFL, with a team that literally just needs 2 D tackles and a D end and a guard. At the end of the day, that's what they need. We still have Fred Warner. We still have Nick Bosa. We still have Lenore. We have Grenard. I don't know why I'm counting like this. It's kind of weird. We have Green, not Grenard. We have Green, Mustafa. You have solid pieces on the defense. You have solid pieces on the offense. You fix special teams. All we need now is a kicker, and hopefully Wisnowski's okay. There's still some question marks. But if you paid Brock Purdy, it's the same thing you had in 2023 that got you to the Super Bowl. It makes no sense to me. So pay the man. Pay the man less cap space than you did pay Jimmy G and go back to the Super Bowl like you did then. Because you could do it. You could make it happen. So that's my rant. All right. I like hate watching. Okay. I don't see any deleted comments. Yeah, I don't see any either. Pay the man his due. He's earned it. It's just where the league is going, the QB-driven league. Exactly. And you don't think he does it's just so wild to me, man. That's so wild to me. Also, why do people seem to forget that the cap number goes up every year by a lot soon enough? When Purdy takes 53 or 55 million, 60 million won't even matter. I agree. That's another thing. It's like when Brock Purdy's real cap, because we all know that they're going to backload this contract. So that's what they do. In 2027, that's probably when his big cap will come in. Compared to now, it'll probably be like a $50 to $75 million difference in 2027. It will grow that much in 2027, which is like 20% to 25% in growth by then. Making what you thought of Brock Purdy's contract being of what, $55 million, let's say, would be, I don't know, like 10% of the cap at that point for a starting quarterback that can get you to the Super Bowl. Reason why you win playoff games. I don't understand it, man. I don't understand this. I don't get it either. It's a good point, Juan. It's a good point. You're telling me. You telling me. Pretty all saved the front office's ass. They were in deep trouble after they traded 3 firsts in the bus and Lance and came back in and lit it up. That's true. That is true because I'm telling you right now, if Trey Lance was good at all, he would have gotten started over Cooper Rush, and he would have. I don't think the Dallas Cowboys probably would have. You would hear rumors more of them moving on with Trey Lance, and Trey Lance would have a job right now. I'm sorry, people are like, oh, Trey Lance didn't get a chance. Trey Lance got a chance. He had an opportunity. He really honestly did. Because I'm telling you right now, if people thought that, if GMs thought that, if teams thought that, he'd be on a team right now. He's not even on a team. The word of his practices would get out. The word of other teams and GMs and scouts that move on to other teams would hear about him. And he would be on a team, potentially fighting for a starting job somewhere. I tell you right now, the Seattle Seahawks would have took him if he was any good. Seattle Seahawks would have got him on the team if it was like, hey, Trey Lance is actually good and he should fight. He should compete with Sam Darnold. That's exactly what you would hear right now. Guess what? They aren't even taking that opportunity because they know. So you're right. Brock Purdy saved their asses with that 7th round pick. I'm telling also another notion of this. Kyle Shanahan would not have moved off of Trey Lance if he didn't think Brock Purdy was any good. If Brock Purdy was just this whatever guy. Because they gave up 3 first rounders. It's his whole reputation. And then you have to tell the owner that, hey, you just spent 3 first-round draft picks on a guy that we're going to let go, that we're going to trade for a 4th. Do you understand the ramifications of that? Do you understand exactly, like, you may not like Kyle, but he put all of his chips in on Brock Purdy. He did. He was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm putting all my chips in on Brock Purdy. Because if Brock Purdy was bad, not good, terrible in the playoffs, Kyle Shanahan wouldn't be here. John Lynch probably would still be here because I like John Lynch. I think John Lynch is still pretty good. But he probably have a way shorter leash. Our head coach right now would be Doug Peterson. Our coach right now would be John Fox. So, yeah. There we go. Man, I just love when the 49ers falls apart. Says Ja'Cory Williams. No one's falling apart over here, buddy. We're good. Good for you, bro, but that ain't happening here. It's not happening here at all. I love, in case he's still here, I don't know if he's still here or not, but I love every single move the 49ers have made. They made some weird ones, like the cutting the Hughes check thing and then signing him, but that's not like, doesn't bother me at all. Us not going all out in free agency for guys that we've tried in 2023 and 2024 that haven't worked out and just strapped the salary cap. Instead, we just got rid of those guys. I'm like, okay, we're not doing that. We're trying something different. That's what I like to see. That's what they did. I love every single thing that they did. There's not one thing that did. People are upset about Dre Greenlaw, but I'm fine with moving off of him. I understand why. We love him. He's a great 49er. 49ers do love him. But I personally just think that availability is the best ability. I don't think he'd be available. I think he's just injury prone. He's super good when he's on the field, but when he's on the field, man, there's a risk you're taking when he's on the field, and I don't like that. But Hufunga's been replaced. Jaylon Moore was just a backup. Mason was 3rd on the depth chart. Floyd, I like Floyd, but he doesn't necessarily fit the scheme. And a D-line heavy draft. We got rid of Hargrave, who was overpaid. He had to go. We got rid of Collins, who was just a pass rusher, maybe good depth or whatever, but he was taking up a lot of the cap. He had to go. I'm trying to think of those. Debo. Debo's absolute trash. I'm glad we moved off of him. There's really no move that they made that I was like, oh my God, we're screwed, man. No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do in the draft. I'm excited what they do in free agency after the draft because they did pick up some gems in the prior years. I want to say Omenahue or a couple of other like DNs that we got after the draft were a lot more beneficial to us than the players we got in 2023 and 2024 who were absolutely atrocious and didn't help us at all. The 49ers are good at a certain process. They're good at the draft, and they're good at picking up players after the draft. So I trust the process. I trust the process, and I like the process so far. Heck, they got Robert Saleh and Brant Boyer, 2 of the best coordinators that were available. I'm happy with it. I'm happy. So I think a lot of people are just some casual fans out there are really just reacting because of the mass exodus, and it seems like a lot. But if you actually looked under the microscope and you actually looked at these players, they did not help the team. So good for you, bro. That's not happening here. We were lucky and got out of our contract with Jimmy G's string because his frequent use of the Bunny Ranch and boner pills. Raider. Hey, man, we have animosity towards Jimmy G too as well, man. You and Kyle Shanahan would get along for sure. You and Kyle Shanahan would just get along so well. Trey Lance is hot garbage. I agree. I mean, I didn't like the draft. I didn't like drafting him at the time, but I was definitely open to the idea because I did like his intangibles. I liked who he was, but like he kind of showed some injury prone, and I don't like injury prone players. I really don't. And from what I constantly heard, he was sloppy mechanics. He saw players late that were open, things of that nature. This is what we heard in the training camp. He just wasn't ready. He has an arm, right? And he can throw it into tight windows in the sense that he's got a rocket arm and he can get it there. But he sees the field late. He's got some injury issues. His mechanics are terrible. Those are the things that I heard about Trey Lance, and that's not a starting quarterback. especially seeing the field terrible. Like, seeing the field late is nothing worse than that. I don't get why people want to get Aaron Rodgers just to have him retire next year, too, and then have to rebuild from a different QB in a year or two. It makes no sense to me. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either. We just talked about that earlier. We looked at Carlton's draft situation. He draft proposal for 3 first-round draft picks from the Giants to the and get Aaron Rodgers. It's not a real source or anything like that. It's just someone brought it up who's a mainstream media guy who brought it up. I'll bring it back up again. This is who you're talking about. This is the source of the Aaron Rodgers conversation. This right here is the source of the Aaron Rodgers conversation. I'll zoom in for you guys. Greg Garton, who's a drunk on his TV show, by the way. He has a late-night TV show. It's mainstream media, and you know more about your team than mainstream media does. He says, here's a trade nobody says no to. The Giants trade 3 first-round draft picks, including a swap this year with the 49ers for Brock Purdy. The Niners signed Aaron Rodgers to be their starting QB for the 2025 season. You're welcome. No need to pat me on the back. Just happy to help. Hell no. Hell no. All right, just not to go through it again because we had a long conversation. 3 first-round draft picks do not promise you a playoff caliber quarterback. Do not promise you a starting quarterback. Promise you nothing. The 3rd overall pick, you're in a very terrible QB draft. Options would be potentially Cam Ward, but I think he gets drafted by Titans, Shedeur Sanders, or Jackson Dart. Not worth the 3rd overall pick. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Will Campbell can't play quarterback. So if we did that, we would have to draft a quarterback with a 3rd round pick because you want to know who's our backup? Mac Jones. And then if you want to go for Aaron Rodgers, not to mention the Aaron Rodgers, Mac Jones thing, that's a terrible situation there. So this is terrible. This is the discourse. This is the source. This guy who has a late night show. I mean, his show is like 11 or some shit. Talking about this, and then every 49ers content creator, and again, I'm not insulting them. This is just what's happening. From Larry Krueger, Grant Cohn, David Lombardi. I guess David Lombardi is kind of like more discrediting it, but he's still talking about it. You got Brad Graham, all those other people like that. It's spreading like wildfire because it's conversation. It's discourse. It's conversation that people can talk about and stuff like that. That's all it is. And getting people's opinion, hey, would you like this? This would not happen. This is not happening. I'm telling you right now. This is not happening in a million years. So, but the conversation that's coming out of this tweet is Aaron Rodgers to the 49ers. That will not happen. Kyle and Aaron Rodgers, even if Aaron Rodgers was good, would not get along. You're asking for a drama-filled, terrible season by having Aaron Rodgers, even if he was still good. It would not work. So this isn't happening in a million years. So just remove that from your brain. People are going to talk about it. But at the end of the day, not happening. Not happening, even if you were to change a few things here and there. Rodgers even is a mediocre player at the age now, not worth it. 110%. I want Trey Lance to QB4. I just feel bad for the little millionaire. I know you liked Trey Lance, but he's done, man. He's just not that guy, man. In free agency, people were acting like we move off our life-changing players. We got rid of old, injured, or mediocre players. Only loss I actually heard was Greenlaw, but it was going to happen exactly. I mean, the 49ers tried to get him back, as the report was. Like, even after, he signed – he agreed to the deal on Monday and signed it, and then they were trying to get him even after the agreement, so maybe the 49ers try to get that guy back, man. It does. Even I'm happy with moving off from him, but it sounds to me that they did not want to lose him. But we have to understand that Dre Greenlaw, it could have been possible that the 49ers offered more money than the Broncos did. But there's one thing the 49ers can't offer that the Broncos can. The Broncos can offer him the number 1 linebacker spot. The Broncos, I know they have Bonito, but he's more of a pass rusher, right? Not really a middle linebacker, what Fred Warner does. He's a captain of the defense. Dre Greenlaw would be more of that guy there. He'd be way more of the number 1 guy there. And that's what Dre Greenlaw wanted. He wanted his own ship. 49ers cannot offer him that. That's Fred Warner's job. So for all we know, they offered him more money. So for all the discourse of like people are upset that I gotta stop saying discourse, I've seen it like 1,000 times, but a lot of people are upset that Dre Greenlaw's gone. And that's like the one player everyone's upset that he's gone. But the 49ers tried to get him back. They did, and it just didn't work out. And that happens. Sometimes you miss out. But it sounds to me that Dre Greenlaw wanted to go somewhere else. He wanted his own ship, and he got it. So be happy for Greenlaw. 49ers tried, and that's all that matters. Did the 49ers put the effort in? And from what I hear, they did. And that's all that matters. You win some and you lose some. What matters is, did you try to win? And that's what they did with Dre Greenlaw. As for everybody else, you're right, Juan. Everyone was either mediocre, injury prone, or had some personal tragedy such as Ward, and he couldn't be on the team anymore because of PTSD problems. Everyone else, like Debo, Hufanga was not good in 2023. He got injured, and then he was not good when he came back in 2024 for the few games that he came back in. Move on from him. We got Mustafa. We have Jair Brown, who had that great rookie year. Possibly could be better under Robert Saleh compared to Nick Sorensen. You have a replacement there. Jaylon Moore was just a backup tackle that the Chiefs are taking a flyer on. The Chiefs are gambling on Jaylon Moore. I didn't like Jaylon Moore. I'm glad he's gone. So everyone relax. The players we lost, it made sense. I'm getting cotton mouth from all this freaking talking. All right. I really think he's below mid. Giants should trade for Joe Milton. He's better than most of the 25 QB class, by the way. Rodgers is washed and ruins teams. I don't want him anywhere near Levi's Stadium, only if he takes the L. I want him to play on a team where we play them and then he takes the L. I'm full Kendrick Lamar against Aaron Rodgers for sure. But Joe Milton, man, I like Joe Milton actually, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know he only started one game and stuff like that, so it could just be hype. But there's something about Joe Milton, dude. There's something about that quarterback that he's got the swag, dude. I know swag is like an old word these days. I got make fun of for saying swag once, but I digress. Joe Milton has that vibe, man. He has that intangible, I think. He kind of looks like a discount Caleb Williams, the way he's escaping tackles, looking downfield after he escapes tackles, throws darts. I actually like Joe Milton. I think there's something there. I really do. Is he going to be great or anything? Probably not, but I think he could be a starting quarterback in this league. And there's 32 jobs for the starting quarterback, and I think he could be one of those 32. Wolfie, what's up, man? Apparently we have Derek Harmon very high on our board. I know you like that one. Welcome, Jeff, in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I love Derek Harmon. I really honestly do. When you asked me, I'm glad you're back. I thought about this, actually. It crossed my mind. I was reading a book, and I was like, wait a minute. You know what? I wouldn't say that. You asked me what was my safest picks. I'll take that back from Derek Harmon. Because what I mean by safest picks, Derek Harmon could end up being meh or actually be bad. That's potential. Because every draft pick is normally a lotto ticket. When a safest pick usually is a top 10 pick. Now, what I mean by that is you told me to give you 5. Would Derek Harmon be on that list of top 10 where I had to stretch it out? Yes. But if you're talking about 5, it would be Abdul Carter, Will Campbell, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, because I think Mason Graham will be good. I just don't think he's going to be as good as everyone advertises me, but I think Mason Graham is going to be that good. I think he's going to be good enough to potentially be a top 15 D tackle in this league. So he's still going to be good. And who's the 5th one? It was Will Campbell, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, and Will Johnson. Those are my safest picks. The only thing that's concerned about Will Johnson is not his talent. It's just the injury situation. But Will Johnson has it. Those are my top 5 picks in the NFL draft, for sure. Will Johnson's a future All-Pro. Mason Graham's a top 15 D tackle in this league. Travis Hunter is a generational talent. He is bred to play football. Will Campbell, I like him a lot. Even if he's not a good left tackle, he will be a good guard. So you got that. And Abdul Carter is definitely going to be a starting, potentially even better than Michael Parsons' dominant D end. Those are my 5 safest picks in this draft. And I'd be ecstatic for either one of those. A lot of people love Membu. I think Membu would probably be my number 6 on that list. Membu, the more I think about it, the more I'm in love with him, man. I love everything he does. My only concern is very stupid. I have a very stupid concern about Membu. It's not his injury because he's fine there. It's not his ability to dominate the line, right, because he does a good job there. It's not his ability to be athletic, to take down people, outside zone, run, pass block. He does it all, man. He can play guard if you want to. But as a tackle, it's stupid. It's very stupid because it's really just like 2 inches off. But it's the fact that he's 6'3". Something about him being 6'3" just makes me like, maybe you'd be a dominant guard. You'd be a very good guard in the NFL. But when we're talking about tackle, 6'3" is like, it's got me like, maybe that's a big deal. Maybe. But we're talking like the 11th overall pick, right? Like I would easily take him with the last pick in the first round, like 20th round, right? So it's very petty. It's very nitpicky, right? Is what I'm kind of doing here. But Membu's like him being 6'3", something about that just kind of, I don't know why. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Something about it turns me off about it. But Derek Harmon, man, he's my outside of Mason Graham. You know, Derek Harmon just seems like the safest D tackle, if that makes sense. He's the safest D tackle outside of Mason Graham, where I feel like he would start day one and be effective day one. Walter Nolan, you're taking a chance on him because there is stuff about him that's like concerning, but there's a huge upside of that. He's kind of like the James Pierce of edge rushers, where he has insane potential, where he could be the best D tackle in the league, or he could just be meh D tackle. It's possible. It's kind of like that. Who's Grant? I like Grant, like I do, but he's a run stopping D tackle, which we need. Don't be wrong, but there's no real. If I had to pick Derek Harmon between Derek Harmon and Grant, I'm picking Derek Harmon. Next to that, after that, would probably be Grant, and then it'll be Walter Nolan. Because I want a guy who can bend the line. I want a guy who can take on double teams, eat up double teams, while another inside guy, such as Walter Nolan, if we got both of them, would be great. Someone like Joshua Farmer, for example, if he was on the inside, would dominate one-on-ones. And then the edge rusher we get would help out a lot. I need a D tackle that needs 2 players on him, 2 linemen on him, a center and a guard. Grant and Harmon are those 2 players in this draft that will do that. And that's what I want. Matt Jones and Aaron Rodgers would be disastrous for the team. Yeah, that'd be terrible. 49er Brian in the house. You owe Nikita a jersey. You ducking. You ducking, Brian. You ducking. Greenlaw took the bag, as he should, man. I mean, especially if you're an injury-prone player, get the bag while you can. Brian in the house. Val's showing some love. That's what I like to see. Also, this is a good linebacker draft, and Winters looks promising, although he's probably best at the 3rd linebacker spot. That's what I agree to. He's more of a backup Fred Warner type, and we need a guy who's a thumper. I don't know if this is a good linebacker draft. Some people are saying that, but when I watch them, this is my personal opinion, of course. I don't love a lot of these linebackers. There's some later ones I like that Buchanan guy. Terradome convinced me. I like him a lot now. I like Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma. I've liked him since the moment I looked at him, as you guys do know. Danny Stutzman and Demetrius Knight. Bossa, I think I looked at him once, wasn't impressed. I'll take a look at him again, see what he's all about. But there's like 3 linebackers I like in this draft. And I looked at Chris Paul, not a fan. Kobe King from Penn State, not a fan. I looked at I'm not even – a lot of people are a big fan. This is a hot take. You guys ready for a hot take? You know me. I have no problem telling you guys how I feel. You guys know me. I have no problem telling you if I think a player is not good. This is a super duper hot take. Like I was about, I can't remember his name, something Winters from Darrell Winters, I think his name is, from last year. What's his name? He was a linebacker drafted last year. I can't remember his name. It was first round. The Vikings got him. I can't remember his name. He's looking kind of like a bust his first year. I think Jahad Campbell's kind of like that too. I actually don't love Jahad Campbell. Call me crazy. Just when I watch him, I'm not in love. A lot of people are in love with Jahad Campbell. I'm personally not. I don't really see it. I don't really see it. Dre Greenlaw got hurt celebrating dude pulled a Grammatica. That's funny. What's up? Hey, I'm showing some love. That's why I say, didn't both Grammaticas go down? John has a very safe pick, too. That's funny you say that because I just said I'm not the biggest Jahad Campbell guy. So you're probably like, wait a minute, what the fuck? I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's good. Will Campbell's way too injury prone. I don't know about that, man. He's gotten hurt a couple times, but he's only missed like a shit ton of games one time with turf toe. Outside of that, he's been out of games with some injuries where he gets out of the game, but he's still played and started 11 games, 13 games, 12 games, and stuff like that. But he does get hurt where he gets pulled out of the game. There's one, it was last year, this previous year, he had turf toe, and that knocked him out of the thing. But I don't think he's as injury prone as everyone says he is. Yeah, I agree. Mason Graham probably won't be the some star D tackle. Doesn't have the traits or speed, but he will be a damn solid one. Exactly. Grant and Graham had each other. Nolan doesn't fit the whole wide nine. Harmon's the best fit as he was the solid tackle and was fits a wide nine. I think Jordan Birch was on that line, but compared to the Michigan line, they have Grant and I can't think of his name. The pass rusher / the Jaylon Walker of Michigan. I can't think of his name. He's a pass rusher and he was a linebacker, so offensive linebacker, but off the ball linebacker. Sorry, offensive linebacker. Him, I can't think of his name. Had way more draft prospects than the Oregon guy with Jordan Birch and just Derek Harmon. That's it, really. So I agree with that. No, bro. Remember measuring it 6'4" at the combine. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, Jeff. All right. Like I said, it's a very stupid thing. Trust me. I was looking it up as well. He was measured 6'4". So yeah. All right. Okay. You guys tell me 6'4". Okay. All right. Bullshit. I sent it. It's just bullshit. I sent that shit. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I'll ask Nikita. See what's up. I'll see what's up. Jason in the house. Jeff in the house. I think I forgot to give you a shout out, Jeff. Not decking Nikita. Okay. All right. Back it up. My bad. I heard Michael say that 49ers Brian. Okay. All right. There was a period there where I was like, hey, man, I haven't seen 49ers Brian in a while since the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I haven't seen him in a while. Do you like Barrett Carter from Clemson? No. Like I said, I'm very low on a lot of these linebackers. Dallas Turner, thank you, Dallas Turner. I was not impressed with him last year. A lot of people loved him. I was not in love with him. Do you like Barrett Carter? No. I'm, like I said, there's like 3 or 4 that I like that are late third rounders, fourth rounders. Buchanan, like I said, I kind of at first I was like, but then Terradome convinced me. He showed me some film. He showed me some good instincts that he's got. And all right, I was convinced I'm convinced on Buchanan. And he's supposed to be a late round pick, so I'll take it. That works out for us. What up, homie? Hey, we showed some love. Hey, 49ers throwback. This guy is vintage. This guy is retro. This guy has been around. This guy is like he's been through David. You see him through David Lombardi. Gets his comments up there. Grant Cohn from last time. I'm pretty sure he's around him too. Larry Krueger says what's up to him, man. This guy is an OG 49ers follower. This guy's OG. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I agree. Apologize. I'll laugh out loud. John Campbell had the most tackles for loss at Bama, 12 and a half sacks, 12 and 5 sacks as a true middle linebacker, and can play the same to he had a sack with a bull rush on weak Will freaking Campbell and had the fastest 10 yard. Still don't like it. I don't care. I'm not a big fan of the combine. Doesn't tell me everything. I'm not a combine guy. If I was a combine guy, then Shamir Stewart would be my man. Shamir Stewart would be my number one pick for the 11th pick, and I'm doing that. But I'm not saying he's slow. I'm not saying he's a bum player, as in like he doesn't know what he's doing or anything like that. But you're talking first round pick, second round pick, best linebacker. I'm willing to gamble that he's not going to be the best. I will bet you. And again, it's a hot take because a lot of people love Jahlon Campbell, but Jahlon Campbell is going to be not the best linebacker in this draft. Watch. I'm telling you right now. I'm willing to bet. I'm confident he's not. And that's a hot take. And you're not going to convince me otherwise. I just don't. When I watch him play, I don't see it. My giddy meter doesn't go off. Demetrius Knight. I love that linebacker. I love Demetrius Knight so fracking much. Only missed one game in 3 years. Awesome. But I don't think he's going to be as good and not a safe pick. You're talking safe pick. So you're saying he's a top 11th pick, like he'd be worth the 11th pick. Maybe not for the 49ers, but like 12th or maybe 10th pick or whatever. I don't think that. I do not think that at all. I'm OG 49ers faithful. A true Mike linebacker, like I said. We don't really need a Mike linebacker, but I hear you. What do you mean you don't care what other Mike linebackers do you know can line up also at a Sam linebacker and rush the passer and get a sack on Will Campbell? I'll have to see that rep, but Will Campbell has allowed sacks before, right? Will Campbell is good at his job, but was there a stunt? Was it a double team off the edge where he got to it? Was the quarterback scrambling and got past Will Campbell? There's certain contexts you got to look for there, but it's not like one rep is convincing you is not enough. One rep is not going to convince me that player is good. It's just not. So I understand what you're saying, but I do not care because I watch him play and I'm not in love with it. Do I think he's going to be bad, as in like he's going to complete bust and no one thinks he's going to be good? But I don't think he's going to be the best linebacker in this draft. So he can still be good, not great, but I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be like the second or third, maybe fourth, potentially best linebacker in this draft. Probably second or third, because I don't think there's a lot in this draft that I like. So probably second, maybe third best linebacker in this draft. But we're talking about safest. He's this great player. He has all these stats and stuff. I don't see it. I don't see it. When I watch him play, I don't see it. If we get Shamir, I will lose it, bust in the making. 110%, dude. I've been hating on that guy since the start. I was like, that guy's a third or fourth rounder. Found out he was a second rounder at the time, and I was like, that is some crazy shit. We don't need Sanders. We got Tanner Mordecai. But against freaking coverage linebacker, no, it was pure 1v1 bull rush, and Jihad sacked him. Oh, it was a bull rush. Okay, that's not that impressive. But one rep is not going to define a player for me, brother. It's just not going to do it. One rep is not going to define a player for me. Also, Wolfie, because, Solomon Thomas has a good rep against some good players. Kinlaw has some good reps against some good players. There's a lot of talent out there that has good reps against some good players that are elite in the NFL now. One rep is not going to convince me that a player is good. Also, if you have time to look at Kansas State, Jacob Parrish, I have. I like him. I do like him. He's a good hitter. He can play nickel. I am a fan of him. Someone worthy of the fourth round, I'll take him. I like Jacob Parrish. I was a little skeptical about it, like just based on this. Like sometimes when you see a player and you see his name, you judge him. It's like judging a book by its cover. So like Jacob Parrish, I was like, it's not really a great corner name. So I was like, yeah. And then I watched him play, and I was like, okay, Solid would love him because he's not afraid to tackle people, heavy hitter, has some good coverage. Wasn't like thorough, but I loved his heart, loved his passion. I loved his coverage. I liked his coverage, not loved it, but I liked it. I'm a fan of Jacob Parrish, not second rounder, not first round talent. I don't think someone worth maybe like the 100th pick, 99th pick, someone in the fourth round type corner that could be good in the NFL. But I liked his heart. He wasn't like Kobe Bryant, where Kobe Bryant was playing off ball a lot and the ball kind of came to him a lot. And he looked more like a safety. Kobe Bryant's a heavy hitter too, but I would take Jacob Parrish easily over Kobe Bryant if I had to. He was the only player last 3 years to have a 75 plus coverage grade, 70 plus run defense grade, and 70 plus rushing grade. No one else has done that in 3 years. Don't just say that doesn't matter. I do because it's just PFF. Like now you're talking about PFF, and I don't think PFF is not live or die. This is true. Like this guy is going to be great, no matter what. I hear you. It's good references as like if you want to back up your argument of a good player or not. I understand that, but PFF has been wrong before. PFF has been wrong. Has sometimes doesn't work out. He may have been good in college. Just because a player is good in college doesn't mean he's going to be good in the NFL. I hear you, but Jeff, just like James Pierce, if he's good, I'll tell you he's good. I'll tell you I was wrong. If Jahad Campbell turns out to be the best linebacker in this draft and he turns out to be an absolute stud, right? And, he's worthy of 11th pick and he's like the second coming of Luke Kuechly, I will tell you that. I'll be like, hey, guess what? You were right. I was wrong. Jahad Campbell's that guy. But if you're asking me if I saw him based on the highlights, the production, the what he can and cannot do, the reports that I read about him, I'm not in love with him. I don't see that great of a player that everyone advertised. I don't base and I'm not saying you are, by the way. I am not saying this you are. You can come at me with stats all you want. You can come at me with stats all you want. You can do that. But it's not going to change what I saw on the field, what I saw with my eyes. And what I see with my eyes, I don't see this player. I don't see a safe pick. I don't see this dominant linebacker. I don't see this Luke Kuechly type player. I don't see I'm trying to think of like a Patrick Willis that's been advertised. I see potentially a good linebacker, but you're talking about safe. You're talking about he's going to be a future Hall of Fame linebacker. I don't see that. I see a good one at best. I see potentially him being like the second or third best linebacker in this draft. I think Demetrius Knight, hot take, I love Demetrius Knight way more than Jahad Campbell. Going crazy. But so if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. So we'll see how it goes. If CMC comes back in full force, do you see Isaac getting the ball more than Mason ever did, backing up CMC? No, if CMC comes back, man, he's going to be – I don't think Kyle changes his ways. I think Kyle's going to use him like crazy. And Isaac will get the backup reps whenever he gets tired, stuff like that. I do not know. I don't see why Kyle would change that unless a doctor told Kyle, like, hey, he's got the bilateral fixed, but if you use him excessively, if CMC said the same thing, like, hey, this could get worse, this could snap, this could be a problem, then yeah, right? Then yeah, I would say that. But as for CMC, if that doesn't happen, he's gonna be used a lot. He's gonna be a lot. I love how aggressive Parrish is. He would be a great slot corner for us. I agree. I actually do like him. I think he'd be good, worth a 4th round pick. Who do you see getting more receptions? Kittle or Pearsall, JJ or BA? Well, it's not gonna be BA. I'll say Pearsall. Kittle's gonna get more reps now than usual, but I think this is Pearsall's time. Unless Pearsall has a bad training camp and, has a sophomore slump, as of right now, I would say Pearsall. I think Pearsall is going to get used a lot more. I think Kittle's going to get more reps than he usually does, especially with Luke Farrell out there, but I would say that. So Kittle probably, I'm guessing, 1,200-ish yards for him. Hey, that would be awesome. I appreciate it. Well, then I better not hear you say you like Jaylon Walker than John, than more tackles, lost information. Well, it's not. First of all, the stats of just because you have more stats in college does not mean that's going to transfer to the NFL where you're going to be better than another player statistically. So I could like Jaylon Walker more than Jihad if I wanted to, especially considering they kind of play different roles. Jihad plays more of a Mike linebacker, like you said. He does blitz, yes. Does he get sacks? Yes. Does he do those things? Yes. But he's a Mike linebacker. Jaylon Walker is not. He is not. They play 2 different positions. They do 2 different jobs. Jaylon Walker is way more of a pass rusher than Jihad is. So you're asking 2 different positions there. But Joseph Stewart, that's the discount Jaylon Walker of this draft. But I like Jaylon Walker more than Jihad. If you ask me just based on position, who he is, I like Jaylon Walker more. Based on potential, though. Not really like would I think that Jihad could be potentially better like day one than Jaylon Walker? Yeah. But if you're asking me like Jaylon Walker, do I think he has a higher ceiling? Do I think him as a player, even though they play different positions, would turn out to be a better, more valued player? Yes, I would say Jaylon Walker in the end has a higher ceiling than Jihad Campbell does. But again, I don't go off of stats. Like, stats are nice. Like, when I watch film, first I watch film, then I look at stats. Because I don't want to look at production. I don't want to look at stats and think to myself, oh, well, I'm going to look for how he got these stats, as in, like, I'm going to make an excuse for it. I look at a player first, so it's not construed. I'd be like, hey, do I like his speed? Do I like his instincts? Do I like what he can do? Do I like what he contributes? There's an answer. Then I look at stats. I do 2 things first. That's how I evaluate stuff. John Campbell, I understand he's got that production. I get it. I understand. But I was not in love with the guy. So Jeff is like taking this personal, man. He's feeling the James Pierce of it all. You can't say you don't like Jihad because you don't see it with him. I can literally say that with anybody. Well, I don't see it with Patrick Mahomes. Give me what you don't like about Campbell. I think he's a bit stiff. I think sometimes he can hesitate. I think sometimes he waits too long. I think he can be stiff. I think sometimes he makes mistakes and holes. There's certain things I don't like about him. He doesn't pass my eye test. Does he have the stats? Sure. But sometimes he lucks into certain plays. Does he have strength? Does he have size? Does he have speed? Yes. But it's kind of like James Pierce. James Pierce has the size. He has the speed. He could do it. But Jihad Campbell, I just don't see it. And I can say that I don't like Jihad because I don't see it. And you can, if you wanted to say you looked at a player because you don't see it, that is your right. That is your opinion. If you looked at Patrick Mahomes in the draft and you thought to yourself, man, I like him, there's just something about him I just don't like, you can say that. For example, Patrick Mahomes. People did not think Patrick Mahomes was a first-round quarterback. I did. If I can go back to the comment, I swear to God, I want to go back to this comment. I really honestly do, but I can't. I honestly can't because I can't find it. I tried finding it. But when I saw highlights of Patrick Mahomes, when I looked up Patrick Mahomes back in the day when he was a draft prospect, I was in love with this guy. I was like, the 49ers need to get this guy. This guy's phenomenal. I think he's great. And everyone was like, nah, dude, he's not that good of a guy. He just scrambles a lot and just throws it, hopes for the best, blah, 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 blah. But when I watched him, I was like, there's something about him, man. There's just something about Patrick Mahomes that I love a lot. I want the 49ers to get him. So I can say that when I look at a player, I just don't see it. Just as much as you can say it too. And sometimes you can't put your finger on it. There's just something about a player. You're just like, nah, I don't see it. People said the same thing about Patrick Mahomes. And guess what? I said that about Patrick Mahomes. And guess what? I was right. Just saying. That's something I've been trying to find a comment. I can't do it. So what games did you watch from Jihad? I watched a couple. I haven't watched them all, but I have watched some of his highlights, watched some players. I've watched some content creators break him down and stuff like that. You don't need to watch all of his games. There's plenty of tape out there. There's plenty of content creators breaking him down. And then you get your idea of whether or not you agree or disagree with that situation. You don't have to watch every single game. I mean, there's a lot of college games. There's a lot of college games. So, Jihad, I just don't see it. I've done my research on that. I've seen the tape. I've seen other people break him down. I'm just not that in love with him. Like and subscribe. Let's go, baby. And guess what? If you're right, you can say you're right, and I'll tell you you're right. Safe doesn't mean future Hall of Fame. Means that not going to be a bust and solid player for all, earning a second contract with the team. If you're going to say that, then there's a lot of players in this draft I think would earn a second contract. I mean, Kinlaw earned a second contract. So Kinlaw's not a bust. Then there's a lot of players. I think Derek Harmon is safe then, for sure. If you're putting a standard there, then yeah, I would say John Campbell's safe. I'd say Demetrius Knight is safe. I'll say Genty is safe. He could get run to the ground. That's about it. Man, that opens it up. I think Armand Membu is safe. Like so many names popping in my head. There's a lot of safe players. If you're setting the standard to that, where they just get a second contract, my God, there's a lot. TJ Sanders. I think Joshua Farmer. Who else? I'm trying to think. I'm just like so many names pop in my head. Mike Green. You know, the only problem is like he's got some attitude issues. That's Mike Green. Nick Scorton. Jack Sawyer. Heck, even JTT, who I don't really like from Ohio State. If you're setting the standard to that, then I think there's a crap ton of players in this draft who are safe. What I mean by bust is where are you picked? When you say safe pick, you're talking about, for me personally, when someone says safe pick, if you were to get this guy at this position, at this part of the draft, is he going to be worth that pick? Is he going to be great? Is he going to be better than most of the players you missed out on by taking this guy instead? That's what I think of a safe pick. I don't think a player as it needs to be a bust. I think a safe pick as in a guy who's going to be a starting guy 1 through 32, someone who's at least going to be great or more, right? Those are safe picks to me. And I don't think Jihad's going to be that. I think Jihad's in his second contract for sure. I totally see that. Most just watch 5 minutes of highlights. No, I watch breakdowns of players, especially players the 49ers connected to, their like or their needs. I tend to watch other content creators and what they have to say about a player. I watch the highlights, of course, because that's something you got to do, get your own opinion on that. But for the most part, because I don't watch all the college games, and what I do is I go to other people, what they have to say, and then I get my own opinion on it. I personally am not the biggest fan of Jaylon Campbell. And I did my research on Jaylon Campbell. He's supposed to be the best linebacker in this draft. If I'm going to say something like I don't like a guy, if I'm going to say something like I just don't see it, I better have seen more than just 5 minutes of highlights. I better have done a lot more digging. I've busted my ass. I am not trying to toot my horn. I'm not trying to like, I did this. Oh, I'm not trying to do that, but I've busted my ass on research, man. And I've ignored a lot of shit to research players. And if one of them is a top guy, I do a lot of research on that guy, especially if it's a need for the 49ers. Linebacker is a need for the 49ers. Corner. I'm just diving into corners. I've looked at linebackers. I looked at D tackles. I've looked at D ends. I've looked at guards. I've looked at running backs. I've looked at I still need to do more research on tight ends, but I've done some research on tight ends. I've done some research on wide receivers. I would say I still need to do more research on corners, safeties, more research on wide receivers, and tight ends. I would say those are like my most thing, but D tackle, D end, linebacker, guard, and running backs have been like consumed most of my time. Have you heard about and Steve on the house? Have you heard about the reporting that Niners think McKivitz is the bee's knees and that Brendel Hennessy might compete for the center? Hey. I mean, there's two good news that you just brought to me here. There's two good news, right? One, McKivitz, not as bad as Brendel, and plays good next to Purdy. So there's that. There is that. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Brendel and Hennessy, at least there's a competition. At least there's a competition. And I think Hennessy's going to get it. So, and I think it's going to be more than that. I think there's going to be a player. People may disagree with me or agree with that, but I think there's going to be a player in the draft they're going to get that can play center potentially. Probably guard too as well. But you got Ben Bartch, who's probably going to compete for it too. You got Zakel. You got Nugent, who's also a project that we're working on, and Hennessy. I think it's more than just Hennessy, but the key word here is compete. So that means there's going to be more players than just Hennessy who's going to compete for the starting job. So you got those players I mentioned as well. If there's a competition, as long as there's a competition, I mean, that's kind of a big deal to me. That says a lot. As long as they're not being like, it's Brendel, guys. It's Brendel. Deal with it. That's all I care about, as long as it's not that. So, yeah, Jaylon Warren blitzes more and does play Michael linebacker at all. And Joggin has only one less sack than him and more tackles for loss and better pass rush percentage. What does that tell you? That he's good. That he's good. And I believe Jahad Campbell has more reps than Jalen Walker does too as well. And that the defensive coordinator for the Alabama knows how to draw up plays. If you had said he hasn't come off the blocks and his pad level is too high, then I get it. But saying he's stiff is completely wrong. His biggest strength is his lateral quickness, sideline speed. I don't see it. That's kind of interesting that you said that. If you're saying that his blocks, he comes off his block, his pad level is too high, then that means he can get locked up and his pad level is too high, so he's not really good at the run game. So that's his opinion. Jeff is cooking. He's feeling it, man. He's feeling it. He's a big fan of Jahad, man. I hear it. But I disagree. I think he's stiff. I don't think he has that lateral quickness that you're talking about. I think he misses holes, and I think he gets lucky. It's kind of like when Xavier Watts. A lot of people say that Xavier Watts is like a ball hawk. I'm sorry. When you watch Xavier Watts, the balls just come to him. Pause. Like, he's just in the right spot, like, due to tips, overthrows. He's there. I maybe like one, I think he's earned. Like, there's some Xavier Watts, not my guy. If you don't watch every game, that's lazy, especially doing 500 drafts. We know those people because they can say the name wrong. If you don't watch every game, that's lazy, especially doing 500 drafts. We know those people say it. I disagree. I don't think you understand you can't watch every single game. That would be crazy. I mean, if you watch every single year, that'd be insane. If you watched every single game and every single snap of a player, you would never get to all the players. Also, I can do 500 drafts if I want, because there's a lot of players I like, and there's a lot of players I don't like. So I can do all the drafts I want. And there are players towards the 200 that these analysts who their whole job is to watch players. Their whole job is to analyze. They don't know who they are. That happens. That's because they haven't watched every single game. Now, when you say you got to watch the lowlights, I do. There are content creators out there, especially on YouTube, who break them down, who show you lowlights from the all 22, show their worst reps, and tell you exactly how bad they are. You can do that. And that's what I do. I go out, I watch the highlights first, look at the production, then I go off to the content creators and see what they have to say. They show me the film, they show me the bad stuff and the good stuff. And you can't watch every single game. That is impossible. If someone tells me I've watched every single game of every single draft prospect here, you are lying to me. It's not possible. Do you understand how long games are? Do you know how it takes to look at a rep, then rewatch that rep, analyze that rep over and over again out of 500 and plus reps of a player? The 1,000 plus reps offensive linemen take of a player, you wouldn't even get out of the first round. There's too many reps. So what you do is you do your research and you like a player. Is there a rep out there I may have missed? Sure. But based on my research and what I saw and the effort I put in, I like my effort. I like what I do to find a player if I like a player. You do your research. Some people like production in a player. Does he have good stats? That is your evaluation. I could be wrong. I have been wrong before. But analysis also have been wrong. GMs who do all the research in the world are wrong. GMs who have 10 different GMs have like multiple scouts out there who do watch all the reps, and they're wrong. So I can have all the scouts in the world, but if I watch a player and I don't see what they see, I'm going to tell you that. If I watch a player and I don't like what they do, I'm going to tell you I don't like this player or I love this player. I do my research. I think Hennessy has the potential to be really good. I'm just concerned that his past injuries may have made him worse. We'll see. I mean, how old is Hennessy? Sorry. Age. He's 27 years old. Okay. All right. Pretty young. Could take the job. All right. That's why there. No doubt, no doubt. Watch every rep, every game. It's not as hard as you think with all 32. Been betting for 24 years. Worth it. It is. I mean, it's not as simple as just looking at a rep and then moving on. That's crazy. That's actually wild. Even with all 32, you sit there, you watch the rep, and you watch the breakdown, and then you repeat it, and you look at it again and again and again. If you're just looking at a rep and then moving on, then you're not really evaluating the play. You're not evaluating the situation. All 22 gives you all the reps. But if you went through every single rep of a player, you are not going to get to all the players. You're not going to get to 100 players. You're not going to get to 200 players. And for all the people who do watch all the reps, such as in a collective as GMs do, where GMs watch all the reps because they have all the scouts watch the reps and you have a collective that way. They are wrong. They have been wrong. They have been wrong before. So it's all opinion based at the end of the day. It's all what do they see and what do they like. They can watch every single rep and still be wrong. I go, that's why teams have scouting departments. It's impossible for one content creator to watch every game for every player to make an opinion. Yeah, to have a full-on opinion on every single player, especially when you don't have scouts, is damn near impossible. You make your evaluations, you find the players you like, and you find the lowlights, you find the highlights. You can easily find on YouTube lowlights and highlights of a player and what you don't like. If you see a player, you can see enough reps of a player to know what you don't and don't like about someone. So, no creators have a real job. Get your asses in the lab. You're not scouting 262 players. That would be dumb. That's just not happening. It's impossible. It would be damn near impossible to scout 262 players, every single rep, every single thing they've done, and then go back and look at all the reps again. It's just not possible. Even teams, even the scouts who get, even the people who get hired by the NFL.com and stuff like that, who cover the NFL, don't even get to 262. But like me and like Jeff, who has done his research, he's a fan of John Campbell, who has done his research on James Pierce Jr., right? He's seen enough reps to whether or not he knows if he likes a guy or not. I have seen enough reps of John Campbell and breakdowns of John Campbell, whether I like him or not. And that's what it is at the end of the day. Even the GMs, by the way, the GMs who draft these players, their opinions of a player. I could be totally wrong. GMs have been wrong before. Everyone has been wrong about a player, but they tell you their opinion. John Chapman has been wrong. Brad Graham has been wrong. Grant Cohn has been wrong. Larry Krueger has been wrong. But yet everyone listens to those people because they like his opinion, or they like his evaluation, or they disagree with him, but they hear him out, or they like the fact that he was right about something at one point, so they'll hear him out when he has to say about a player. But I'm telling you right now, all those content creators have been wrong. I have been wrong. GMs have been wrong. Everyone's wrong. These are all opinions. Every single one of these draft prospects. So you could tell me, hey, you need to look at all the reps, all the players, every single snap. That is impossible. You just get an impression of a player. You with her, you like him or not. That's what I do. And John Campbell, I just don't see it. Demetrius Knight, though, man. Fuck, dude. I like Demetrius Knight. I like Danny Stutzman. Those are my two favorite linebackers in this draft. Do I think Danny Stutzman might be better than John Campbell? That's saying a lot. Just because I think John Campbell could be good. But if you're telling me safe, my evaluation of safe is he going to be the best pick at 11? Like, for example, if we draft him at 11, will he be better than most of the players ahead of him up until pick 43? Because you could pick a safe player in the third round, late third round, early fourth. This guy is a safe D tackle because he's great at the run and you know he'll stop the run. And that's why he's safe here at fourth round. Draft him here, it's safe. Not a steal. There's a difference between a steal and a safe pick. You can get a steal, but in the fourth round, you can get a safe run stopper, D tackle. Linebacker John Campbell, he would be a safe pick in the third round to me, late second. That would be probably safe. But if you're telling me he's a first rounder, I wouldn't say safe because I don't think he's going to be better than most of the players that you could potentially get, like Mike Green, Derek Harmon, Membu. I think Membu will be a better player in the end than him. Walter Nolan could end up being a better player than him. There's some people's definition of safe pick is different than mine. It happens. What determines the amount of players that can go into the draft every year? I think technically, there's like 400 that declare for the draft. I don't think there's really a limit. There's just certain players set themselves apart from others, and it pushes players down the line. So, for example, there could be a player you like in the 7th round to declare for the draft who's predicted to be like the 400th best. 400th best player in the draft. So I don't think there's a cap. I just think there's I think anyone can really declare for the draft. Really, as long as they have an agent, I think they have to have an agent. I could be wrong. Or hype to them. Kind of like Lamar Jackson. Well, he had an agent. His mom was his agent. So I do think there's a rule you have to follow, but I don't think there's a cap. I don't think. There's almost 700 to Strawberry. Strawberry in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't think there's a cap. There's a lot. There's a lot of players that can go in the draft. There's no cap, but it's just like there's only 7th round. There's only 7 rounds in the draft. So, and then everyone else becomes undrafted, or they don't get picked up at all. But in general, I don't think there's a cap. At least this year, Strawberry says. So you're saying there's a lot of players in this draft. I think there's a lot of players in this draft. I like a lot of these players. Usually when this is kind of weird to say, usually when there's a draft with barely any quarterbacks in it, for some reason, for the most part, that draft is usually touted as terrible or not that great. This draft, though, I love this draft a lot compared to other previous drafts. There's a lot of players in this draft I'm more in love with than I think I've ever been. I'm not lying to you. I mean, down the line, I think there's a lot of players I feel like the 49ers could draft that I think would be good starters in the end for the team in the 4th round. There's just something about this draft in particular that just sets the rest of them apart. Like usually like a 4th round, 3rd round, I think last year where we got some steals, I kind of thought to myself, there's not much to choose from. I didn't think there'd be that many players to really choose from there. It was mainly an offensive line draft. What else? There was a few others, wide receivers. What else was that draft filled with? There's a couple others, but it's not as stacked. This draft, to me, is stacked. There are a lot of players I like in this draft. I'm not as high as other people are on linebackers this draft, but that's just my opinion. I could end up being wrong, of course. At the end of the day, like I said, everything's an opinion. But, man, like from safety, corner, I think is probably the thinnest in my opinion. A lot of people love these corners, but there's only like 3 or 4 I like in this draft. There's a few safeties I like. There's some linebackers I like, not a lot, but there's some probably up there with corner. Ton of D tackles I love. A ton of D ends I love. Guards I love. Tackles, not so much. Running backs. There's wide receivers. Like it's this in my opinion, this draft lacks quarterback, tackles. Some people disagree with me on this, but I think linebacker and corners. Those are probably I think it lacks the most, in my opinion. Yeah, it does 7 rounds, UFAs, and they can get drafted into UFL, XFL, CFL. That's where the kickers should go. Probably get kickers out of there. There are places to play. Just NFL is the league that everyone prefers if they can make it in the NFL. That's true. Like the XFL, man, you do have some solid. Like I think that's a really good place to have evaluations for kickers. I think that's a great place for that. Like, I mean, was it not Jesse Bates, but Jake Bates was a good one. There's another one. There's 2 kickers that came from lower leagues that were pretty good. Aubrey for the Dallas Cowboys is one of them. So it's those two. Those 2 guys, solid kickers. I think you should get your kickers from XFL. I think that's a great place to evaluate them. But, all right. So we went through the draft situation. Jeff is a big fan of Jihad Campbell and James Pierce. We're going to have to disagree on that. He feels like he's that guy. I appreciate his passion. Appreciate the conversation. If you like a guy, you like a guy. If you don't like a guy, you don't like a guy. But you could watch every single rep and still be wrong at the end of the day. You could look at production and still be wrong at the end of the day. You like a player or you don't. So I watched JT O'Sullivan for Breakdown. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear you watch creators break down film. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear you watch creators break down film. As for quarterbacks, I didn't watch many quarterbacks breakdowns, stuff like that, because I watched Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders. I've seen a few games of him. I've seen a few games of his. I've seen his highlights. I think I saw like one breakdown of Shedeur Sanders. Just didn't like it. Jackson Dart. Oh my God, I'm a big fan of Jackson Dart actually. Who's the other quarterback? Will Howard. And then who's the other guy? There's another quarterback I looked at, but yeah. But I don't know why you're gonna pretend like I didn't watch. I don't know why you're gonna pretend like I didn't watch content creators break down film. I don't understand this comment. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't understand this content. You're saying you watch Jason Sullivan watch for breakdown quarterbacks, and then you're saying I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear you watch creators break down film. I'm confused by that. Are you saying it's a good thing that I do that because you watched creators break down stuff, or I'm confused by that comment. The draft is it. The QBs in this draft suck. Ward would have gone mid first round last year. Shedeur would have been a second rounder, and Dylan Gabriel and Will Howard would have been drafted really late. I like Dylan Gabriel actually. Seen a couple of clips of him. Not in love, but yeah, I think that a lot of these quarterbacks are not starting this league. I think the only two that I like in this draft that I think could be good in the end is Jackson Dart and Cam Ward. Cam Ward's obviously number one. I think Cam Ward would be I think Cam Ward would be over J.J. McCarthy and potentially Bo Nix of last year. I think he'd probably be like the fourth or fifth quarterback taken in this draft if those other quarterbacks were in here. But Cam Ward, man, I like a lot. I like Cam Ward a lot. Sees the field well, is accurate, gives his wide receivers a chance. He knows how to break out from players. He knows how to break out from the pocket. He knows when he has protection. The only thing I noticed, and I'm not going to hold it against him too much, is that with Miami, he had really good protection. Like if you go watch his plays and stuff, his protection was really good. Like a lot of the big throws that he has really good protection. But he's accurate, sees the field, he's confident, has great mechanics. He has an arm. I like Cam Ward. I really do. That's like Larry playing a clip from ESPN talking about it. To me, that's just stealing, not making any content. Well, I mean, he's been right about players. You know what I mean? Like, I disagree with that assessment because you are getting opinions from people who have studied players, who show you film of what they like about a player, right, or don't like about a player. So they'll show you his lowlights and they'll show you his highlights. They'll tell you his weaknesses and they'll tell you his pros. So those you are getting information from somebody who has watched the film down to a T. Now, when you watch content creators break it down, those people have watched more film than you have, right? So let's say Larry watches ESPN clips of some guy being professional saying, hey, I like this guy. Here's his weaknesses. Here's his pros. I watch those. I take that as valuable information. Then I watch another content creator and I ask myself, does that information cross what this person had to say about this player? So, for example, I watch multiple content creators on a player. I do not just watch one guy and then make an evaluation. I don't just watch highlights and then one content creator. I cross-evaluate. I do like a peer review thing. I take a player, watch his highlights, look at his stuff, then I go look at what people are saying about him, his pros and cons, showing me his lowlights and highlights. Then I watch other content creators who have watched more film than I have, show me his highlights and lowlights and what he likes about him. Multiple. And I get my opinion that way. Now, if you think that every content creator, if you think that every person that you watches every single clip down to a T of all 200 and something players, you're wrong. If you think that an ESPN guy watches every single clip down to a T of every single player, all their 1,000 snaps, you are wrong. They don't. There is a limit to all this research at the end of the day. And even if you did watch all of their clips, just because one person watched more than you did of a player doesn't mean that player, whatever that player turns out to be, he is right. Because if that was the case, then there would be no busts. There would be no steals. There would be no terrible players taken high in the draft. It's not always about have you watched more film than somebody. It's not always about that. Because, again, if that was the case, there would be no busts. I have a feeling Cam Ward might look like a bust in whichever team drafts him, but really it's because his O-line will be horrible. I mean, that's my concern with Cam Ward. Like, he's confident. He can make the plays downfield. He's accurate. He rolls out really well, can throw on the run. There's a lot to love about him. But my biggest kind of is his protection was great. He had really good protection. And he currently has multiple wide receivers. He has one wide receiver and a tight end in this draft who are supposed to be taken in the second round or third round, which means he had talent around him. So with the great protection, with the talent around him, where does that confidence come from? Where does his ability to step into the throw to make that play? Where does that play come from? Is it him from actually seeing the field regardless of his protection? I don't know. That's really my only concern with Cam Ward. And I like him more than I think most people. I'm not going to lie to you. I like Cam Ward a lot more than most people. It's like saying that a professor isn't really a professor because he uses other people's books to teach. That's a good way to put it. I like that analogy. So, yeah. I'm confident in my evaluations. I've seen people be wrong. That is what it is. What is it meant to be a Mike linebacker in the middle? Yeah, you're the middle linebacker. You're pretty much the guy who relays the plays to everyone. You're the captain of the defense, essentially. You're the guy responsible for pretty much the middle of the field, essentially. You're responsible for most of the time covering the tight end, maybe even the running back. If you're doing nickel, usually that's the safety's job, and then the middle linebacker is responsible for being kind of like an outside linebacker. His ability to go for the running back behind the line. He's usually the guy responsible for the coverage. He's that guy. He's in charge essentially of the intermediate and short routes. He's in that zone area usually most of the time. That's what the Mike linebacker is. And he blitz up the middle most of the time. Your outside linebackers are like your pass rushers. He's your guy who would be out in zone on more to the left and be in charge of depends upon where the running back goes. The Mike linebacker will pass the running back off to him in passing situations. The middle linebacker is the Mike linebacker is just your middle linebacker. He's just in charge of that middle area, in charge of the passing up the middle and runs. He's usually, it's kind of self-explanatory. The right linebacker is usually more ahead of him than he is, and he takes a certain gap. Like he'll take the gap, like the A gap or something like that, B gap or whatever, and the other linebacker will take the C gap potentially. So the middle linebacker is just in charge of that middle of the field, which is precious. Because on the other side, like on sides of the field, you got corners and safeties that also help him out. The Mike linebacker, I'm not saying he's by himself, but he is that middle of the field. He is that guy that's going to take up the middle and run up the middle situations. He is that guy that's going to be support. He's going to be in charge of back, like wherever the zone run is, he's going to be in charge of those gaps that are behind a certain linebacker or a corner who hits those gaps himself. So he's really important. There is no Mike, Sam, Will. It will always be middle, strong, and weak. Middle, strong, and weak. Weak. Gotcha. Like your Fred? Exactly. Fred is a true Mike linebacker. He is pure. He is like the purest as it gets, the best Mike linebacker in the draft and undrafted draft. He's the best linebacker, in my opinion, in the NFL, just because he's great in coverage. He's great in the run. He's great at communication. He's great at passing along priorities to players. I don't know why that took me forever to say. It's very important to be a Mike linebacker. So, why did it call Wolfie a professor? Nice. Facts, Papa J. Papa, just different as books are facts as where creators are biased. Professors can be biased if they want to, but so your evaluation of a player, if your concern is a bias, what I'm not saying you're convicting me of anything or anything like that, but what would be my bias of not liking Jahad Campbell? What would be my bias of not liking a certain player when I don't really have a favorite college team? I like players. And if I like a player, I don't like a player. I don't have a favorite college team. I inherited some, but I'm not that invested in college. So where would my bias come from? So if your concern is bias, I don't care where Jahad Campbell came from. I don't care where Mason Graham came from. I really honestly don't. So I appreciate that because it backs my argument that I have no bias. If I like a player, I don't like a player. This might be a hot take. Hey, we welcome hot takes here, guys. No one's going to agree on everything. There's going to be people who say one thing, and then you're going to be totally right on the other end. It is what it is. This might be a hot take, but even if we trade BA, I don't think wide receivers are a need at all. Juwan Jennings, great. Pearsall looks promising and was good separate in college. DeMarcus Robinson saw. Oh, shit. That is a hot take. That is a hot take. But you're not wrong. I mean, DeMarcus Robinson is supposed to be a substitute to Brandon Ayuk, so that makes sense. Be sure to like the live, guys. If you haven't liked the live already, I really appreciate it. And Pearsall does look like a stud, but if you trade BA, you are saying that Pearsall is that guy. You are telling me that Pearsall is that guy. Cowan could be that guy who's our speedster, and you're telling me there's somebody in this draft that you love that can be replaceable. You are telling me that Pearsall is the man if they trade BA. That's saying a lot. I would say it's a hot take right now for sure. But if Pearsall turns out to be great and he actually is as good as he was at the end of the year, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, you got a number one in Pearsall. Juwan is a great number two. I mean, he'd be like probably a number one somewhere else for how good he is. The only problem is he's just not fast. That's really about it. You got Kittle. You got DeMarcus Robinson, who's just your rental for Brandon Ayuk, who's injured right now. He's a great route runner, great in the red zone. He's got good hands. So, yeah, you do have DeMarcus Robinson. So you're not wrong, but you better be right about Pearsall. Especially considering you have Farrell, who's now doing blocking. And with Farrell doing blocking, it allows you to have Kittle be out there in the passing game. So, yeah, I do expect to see more of Kittle, more of CMC, but you better be right about Pearsall. You better be right about Pearsall. I just never heard that term. I get it. Linebacker is the quarterback of the defense, especially when you have an elite one like you guys do. Hey, you guys might draft Jahad Campbell. Might be your guy. Spartan in the house. What are the Raiders' needs? I know we're a 49ers channel, but we got Raiders Ryan in here. So let's go ahead and check out what the Raiders need. What are the Raiders' needs? NFL draft. What are your needs? You guys got the 6th overall pick. Best player available, according to this article here. You guys do need a running back, right? Could use a wide receiver. So Torrey McMillan or Luther Burden would be great. Ashton Jeanty would be great. You guys could protect Geno Smith more. That'd be good. And then prepare yourself for the future, potentially of getting I I don't think you should draft Jahad Campbell, so I don't think linebacker. So definitely best player available at 6. You guys got the 6th overall pick. I would definitely go best player available. And then draft a quarterback. I actually like this article. I kind of agree with it. So Jackson Dart's going to take him in the first round. I'm certain of it. So the second round, probably second or third round, draft a quarterback. Hopefully you hit on him. If not, just roll with Geno Smith. And then next year, because next year is supposed to be a better quarterback draft, next year draft a quarterback. But if I was you guys, best player available, be it Mason Graham, Ashton Genty, Will Campbell, Torrey McMillan, Luther Burden isn't a bad option. Cam Ward falls to you guys. There's no way you pass on him. There's no way you pass on him, but I don't think it's going to happen. But there's no way. I see you guys drafting Shedeur Sanders. Personally, I think that's what's going to happen at the end of the day. But if he falls to you, of course, I think you guys are going to draft Shedeur Sanders. I think that's what's going to happen. One, it would be a need because depth is needed, but it would be like how D tackle is a need because we don't have a starter. Exactly. So, like, if you traded BA, there would be concerns, but not like you'd be gambling. So, I don't know if it's a need. It would be need for depth, like Strawberry said. Like you'd still need to draft a guy possibly in the late 3rd, 4th round, but you're gambling that Pearsall is that guy that was at the end of the year. What I mean is you're judging one way or another. You're judging one way or another. We don't replace judges in courtrooms with books for a reason. No, but you are. He's talking about a professor. Now you're turning professor into a prosecutor. Now you're turning professor into a defense and a defendant, and that's not what we're doing. You're doing research that would be biased because then you're trying to be right for saying this player's wrong for absolutely no reason or for something he did. Professors, though, is not that. They look at the facts and they build their conclusion, and then they have peer review. And then those peers say, hey, this is correct and this is right. So you are confusing prosecutors with professors, which are not the same. So I take the evidence, right, with no bias, and I tell you if I like a player or not. I tell you if I agree with the player or not. And that's what – and if you really wanted to say that, then you're saying that about everyone. If you think that every single player – if you think every single – okay, what matters most is what you do with all 22 film is no different than somebody who just watches ESPN and has an opinion on someone. Because at the end of the day, what they're doing is they're judging the situation based on how they see it, and they have been wrong before. They could be completely wrong. No different than somebody who just watches ESPN and gets their opinion from one other guy. So, because they have been wrong before, and they've been right before. Somebody who watches all 22 film does not mean necessarily they're just going to be right. Because we have seen proof, scientific proof, that these professionals, these scouts who have peer review, have been wrong before. Really wrong. Such as Trey Lance, the 49ers, have done their research. Everyone's scouts will tell you, hey, he can do it. He's this guy. Guess what? They were wrong. So if you're going to prosecute them and say that, okay, everyone who you're judging one way or another, then you're saying that about everyone. And you're not judging, and I kind of disagree with that assessment of you're judging one way or another. No, you're judging one way. You're judging one thing. Is he good? And should I draft him first round? Is he good? Should I draft him in the second round? Is he good? Do I draft him in the third? That's what you do. You don't judge a player based on he needs to be bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find everything possible to make sure he's bad. You're not going to look at a player and be like, okay, he is good because I say he is. So now I'm going to watch the film and make sure he is good and say everything that's good about him and make sure that he's a good player. You're not judging one way or another. You're judging one thing. Is he good or not? Do you like him or not? You're not. I disagree with that because there are people out there that are biased. Like, for example, people who are invested in college, right? Like, for example, let's say my favorite team is Michigan. Let's say my favorite team is Michigan. Every time I see an Ohio State player, I'm going to be biased. I'm going to think every Ohio State player, I'm going to start off being trash, or I'm going to start off with some sort of hate towards that guy. Then there's bias. Then there's judging one way or another. I, though, don't give a shit. There's nobody in Michigan. There is no player in the draft that I'm like biased, that I want to hate or I want to be good, right? There will be a player where I'll be like, man, I really want to like this guy as much as everyone else. But it's not the same as me shoehorning the idea or me shoehorning the idea of he's bad. So no, you're not judging one way or another. You're judging whether or not. That's what you're doing. There's a difference. Judges go back to the book. Then why have judges? Now we're talking about court. It's not the same. It's kind of crazy. Because somebody's got to read the book or pay a judge. Now we're talking about something entirely different. Raiders could use anything. I mean, not tight end. They're good at tight end for sure. Running back, guard, cornerback, wide receiver. The list goes on. Well, you guys don't need tight end. You got what? You don't need tight end. You got Brock Bowers, who's fantastic. You guys should trade us. What's his name? Michael Myers. I can't think of his name. You guys should trade us that tight end. I like it. I get Will Johnson, says Spartan. I love Will Johnson, man. I have a crush. That's my draft crush is Will Johnson. I love Will Johnson a lot. People say he has injury concerns. I'm not as concerned as everyone else is, but God, he's a future All-Pro in my opinion. I think he's a future All-Pro. Ashton Jeanty would be great, but it's a heavy running back draft class. Will Johnson is your best bet. Will Johnson's dope, dude. I'm confident he's gonna be great. I guess the bill is $250,000 for the book. Judge is $20 for the book. I'm talking about something else entirely different there. I'm not a big T Mac fan. His separation off the line needs work. Genty's amazing, but there's a lot of running backs in this draft. Geno is Sanders comp, so I could see that. I would like to see Abdul drop to us. That would be the dream, right? Sanders to Geno. I like that comp. That's not a bad comp. But the reason why I'm connecting Sanders to the Raiders is because Tom Brady has worked personally with Deion Sanders' son, Shedeur Sanders, has personally worked with him, talked with him, and there's a personal connection to him that I think that, and the vibe that the Raiders got, because I don't think the reason why I think that is because of the Tom Brady connection. Tom Brady's in the front office. He's going to help evaluate quarterbacks and pick quarterbacks. And Shedeur Sanders is going to listen to what Tom Brady says. And it's kind of like the perfect spot for Shedeur Sanders just because of that. Shedeur Sanders is going to be working with his quarterback coach, Tom Brady, who's Tom Brady. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they spoke highly of Shedeur Sanders, like they like him. I think the one team that kind of came out and said they didn't like him was the Jets, because they said it. I think the article was a top seven team didn't like Shedeur Sanders and his smugness, but he I mean, there's still like I think the Raiders and Giants will draft Shedeur Sanders, because I've seen film of Brian Daboll fist bumping Shedeur Sanders, talking to Shedeur Sanders. I think they might draft Shedeur Sanders at 3, or the Raiders are going to draft him at 6 or 7. I think you guys have the 6th pick. That's right. I think that's going to happen. T-Mac, though, I understand the concern about T-Mac. T-Mac, he does have a sloppiness to him, right? He looks lanky. Like, I feel like the wind's gonna blow him away, even though he's kind of a big guy. But he doesn't run routes well. He looks sloppy when he's trying to run those cuts. It's not crisp. But what makes T-Mac phenomenal, it makes him a top pick in this draft. Let me drink some water. is that you're banking on his talent to be able to attack the ball. His ability to attack the ball in the air, 3 players around him, 4 players around him, doesn't matter who's covering him. His ability to jump up, attack the ball at the right angles, no matter what's happening, with incredible hands. He has the best hands in this draft. So not only does he attack the ball well, makes great adjustment when the ball is coming his way, his ability to catch the ball is bar none better than anyone in this draft. That's what you're banking on. You're banking on a guy where if you threw it in the red zone, he's going to beat 2-man coverage. You're getting a guy where it's like, okay, everyone's getting covered, even your best route runner on your offense. You have nothing left. It's 4th down, 3rd down. You have to throw it somewhere. You can trust T-Mac to get that ball. And as for T-Mac's ability to route run, it may not be the best in the draft, right? He can work on that. But there's one thing that is very hard to teach, and it's kind of silly, which is catching the ball at the rate he does. Like, you could teach someone to catch the ball good. You could teach someone to catch a ball, but sometimes, man, instinct mixed with those lessons, you cannot replace. T-Mac's gifted in catching the football. And your only concern in the draft is can his ability to catch the football, the coverage he faces, the triple coverage he faces, all that, can it translate in the NFL against higher talent, better talent? That's really your only concern. Genty, though, is in a tier by himself. Genty's in a tier by himself. I think Genty is a safe pick. Would be a safe pick in top 10. Carter and Crosby would be insane. That would be insane. I won't be mad at all at Will Johnson one. Yeah, Will Johnson. I love Will Johnson a lot. I liked him for the entire draft process. That would be insane with the healthy Christian Wilkins and motivated Adam Butler. Jesus Christ. Christian Wilkins with what's his name? Christian Wilkins, Carter, and Crosby. Damn, dude. Honestly, if I was a Raiders fan, I'd probably trade up if he falls to number 3. I'd just trade up. Like and subscribe, guys. Appreciate it. If you guys hit like, we are 1 like away from 20. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. I'm hoping Pete Carroll can bring. My voice is cracked. I'm hoping Pete Carroll can help Patrick Graham tighten up the middle of the field. Tight ends have been killing us for decades. Patrick Graham. I don't know who that is. I don't even know who that is. I want to keep Big Mike. Brock Bowers is more of our X factor, number 1 target, so you still need that trend. How good is Mike at blocking? Because I know he hasn't done much for production catching the football, but then again, you haven't had a real head coach and a real offensive coordinator and a real quarterback to really throw him the football. So he could be a subject to that. But let's look at Michael Mayer. We'll use Pro Football Focus. We'll use Pro Football Focus. Let's see what Pro Football Focus has to say. He doesn't have an overall grade because he didn't play enough snaps. So he doesn't have an overall grade. He's just not getting snaps. Okay. What about his run blocking grade? Oh, shit. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good, dude. Freaking according to PFF, so it's not end all be all, but you know, or is that from his college? His college, tight end drafted by. Okay, in college he had an 82.1 run blocking grade and a 92.5 overall grade for blocking, which is pretty damn good. Sorry, not for blocking, but overall as a receiving, he has a 91.6. His run blocking is 82.1, which is pretty good. But last year, that's Conklin. He had a 65 run blocking score, which was 13th in the NFL past season. Oh no, that's I don't think he even has a grade for run blocking. I can't even see that. Michael Mayer. Yeah, he doesn't. He has a great run blocking in college, but there's no run blocking grade for him anywhere that I see for the past year. So you guys are just not using him, which is wild. Trade him. Give him to us. Give him to us. We'll take it. Sanders hurting his draft stock the way he tries to build his stock with his dad's antics. I mean, but there'll be a team that'll take a shot on him for sure, regardless of that. I think I don't like his antics either, but I think he's going to get drafted in the first. I think he's going to draft a top 10. I'm pretty confident in that. Sanders fans are just making marketing gurus. Their talent is there. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're getting Shedeur Sanders. You're getting Deion Sanders' son, who's supposed to be good quarterback. And there are teams that absolutely love him that think he'll be a starter and actually is the best quarterback in this draft. That is a reality. And there are teams out there that don't think he's going to be good at all. There seems to be no middle ground with Shedeur Sanders. It's usually top quarterback in the draft, will be top 10. He's going to be great in the NFL. And then there's the teams out there that do not believe in him, don't like him all, don't think he's going to be good at all. It doesn't seem amongst the fans that there's no middle ground with Shedeur Sanders. Exactly, Wolfie. It drives me nuts that a lot of fan bases headset against getting Genty, which is understandable because we're not a running back away, but that would take T-Mac at 6 is crazy. I know to not be comfortable, I think Genty would be – I think that'd be a great pick. I mean, the problem is you do need a better offensive line, but I think it'd be a great pick. He's gotten better at blocking, but he came into the league horrible at it. He was OU for most of the season for personal reasons. Mental illness was the rumors. He didn't get much burn last year. Need Chip Kelly to scheme him up this. Oh, that's okay. Mental illness, that's bad, man. I'm sorry. You know, that can mess with things for sure. But you got Brock Bowers, man, on the bright side. You're good on tight end for the rest of the. You're good on tight end. I would draft Will Campbell, to be honest. If I really, honestly, I would focus on offensive line. I would take who I think is the best tackle or offensive lineman in the draft. Unless Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter fall to you. Maybe Mason Graham. That wouldn't be bad. Mason Graham, Wilkins, Crosby. Could be pretty good. But I would definitely take a priority position. And a priority position, to me, because you could find one in the second round, third round, or whatever, would be a lineman, offensive lineman, or a D lineman. If I was the Raiders. Or Genty, just because Genty separates himself from rest running backs. So that's probably what I would do because I like those positions a lot. And, those are very, very important positions. Quarterback-wise, I would wait till next year. Work with Geno Smith this year. Get a quarterback next year. That's what in a better quarterback draft class. So, all right, guys. This was a very, very long show, man. We had some good debates. We had some good disagreements, which I'm always welcome in these streams, stuff like that. It can get heated. It can get intense. You can be passionate about a player, man. But I'll tell you if I don't like it. If I don't like him, you can tell me if you like him, and we can disagree. I'm all for it. So I appreciate Jeff's opinion on Jihad Campbell. If he's great, I tell you this right now. If a player turns out to be great, and I'm wrong, I promise you, I don't shy away from that. I'd be like, damn, I was wrong with that guy. I'll straight up tell you, all right? Because we're not always going to be right. I'm not always going to be right. You're not always going to be right. The guy, your GM who has all the 10 scouts is not always going to be right. It's just what's a player you love? What's a player you like? And I like to hear it, right? And I love the passion too. Thank you so much for being part of this live and making what it is. Great entertainment, great conversation. 2 hours and 18 minutes worth of conversation. I was going to do a mock draft here, but hey, we'll do another one another time. There's plenty of time between now and the draft. The next time I go live, which will probably either be tomorrow or the day after tomorrow on Tuesday, I'm going to do a John Chapman all draft. I've already done an all Larry Krueger draft already. So either tomorrow, most likely tomorrow, but if not tomorrow, on Tuesday, I'm going to do an all John Chapman 49ers mock draft where we do nothing but draft players that John Chapman has drafted in his mock drafts. Not players he loves, not players he likes, but players that he specifically drafted in his mock drafts. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to do some research there, Google some. I'm going to have to watch a few YouTube videos, get a hold of his mock drafts, and see what he's got going. If you guys like that idea, be sure to check out my Larry Krueger mock draft that I did. That's where I did the same thing, just did all Larry Krueger mock drafts. Did that too. Got to do Wayne Brazy draft. I'm going to get to that too. I'm going to do a lot of 49ers content creators, especially ones who have done a ton of them, like Wayne Brazy, John Chapman, Larry Krueger. And we'll jump into those drafts, all drafts. I think it's a fun idea. It's a fun exercise. So look out for that. We'll probably do that tomorrow or the day after. And then, yeah. And you guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much. Papa J, the best model, broken ass sport. Appreciate you. Raiders Ryan, you don't have to be a 49ers fan to be part of this live, so I appreciate it. I really do. We are one like away from 20. Breaks my heart a little bit, but we're this close. Juan, as always, OG, I appreciate you being part of this. Spartan, you're the best, man. Appreciate you jumping in. Make sure you got in here. Steve-O, even though we disagree with each other, but I appreciate it. Regardless, I appreciate your opinion. It's how we both disagree opinions. Is how you get a collective opinion on things, and allows the people who watch get their collective opinion and see who they agree or disagree with. So I appreciate the disagreement. I do. Strawberry, as always, coming up in here with his opinions, his facts, dude, as always. OG, one of the best in the business, not gonna lie. Jeff was just like, J.R. Gamble, man! So, but, he's a big fan of it. I respect it. We all have our guys. 49ers Brian, appreciate you coming up in here, man. And I'm happy that you kept your word and you sent the jersey, man. That's good shit. It's good shit. Jason, Captain Niner Massey, appreciate you as always. If you like 49ers content, check him out. He has content as always. And then Strawberry is a guy, yes. Ja'Cory Williams, not a 49ers fan, clearly, but I appreciate you coming here, supporting the channel regardless, being relatively peaceful. You could say stuff like this. I'm not going to hate you for it, even though I disagree. Val, the OG. I'm not saying you guys don't do this, but always up in here. Make sure she likes the live, supports the channel. She says hi to everybody. One of the best in the business. I appreciate her. And Salvador Soria came up in here, paused, and was like, guess what? What's up? I appreciate you. I got my wife to get you to 20. What? Let's go, baby. Appreciate you, Brian Rader. Making it happen, man. I love that. When we hit 20, man, I get excited. The 21, 22, 23, all those, man, I just, I feel it, man. It's hitting that 20 like marker. There's nothing like it. So thank you guys for making this live awesome. Thank you guys for making this experience amazing, for making this channel what it is. It's nothing without you guys at the end of the day. So I thank you guys for making this the greatest experience of all time. Fucking love this channel, and I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. To everybody who watches this, be sure to sub, be part of the Wolf Pack, be part of the channel, and you could say your opinions here. You could agree, you could disagree, because at the end of the day, this channel is just having a conversation, saying things that we believe in, saying things we disagree with, saying things we agree with, whatever it may be. You are welcome here with open arms. Just don't come up in here getting personal. That's all I ask. No personal shit, no politics. That's all I ask. But you're welcome here, of course. And be sure to like the live, because every single like makes my 49ers heart grow from here to here. All love, fam. I'll see you next video. Bang, bang, not a gang, baby. Bang, bang, not a gang.